Ich möchte, dass Deutschland bleibt.
Was heißt das?
Ja, was heißt das, was ich sage? Wenn Sie das nicht verstehen, dann ist das Ihr Problem. Dann haben Sie ein großes Problem.
Eine Lösung wäre Apartheid.
Apartheid? In Deutschland?
Damit meine ich zum Beispiel eine Stadt für Muslime, eine Stadt für Christen und so weiter.
In Deutschland?
Es wäre eine Lösung, ja. Und dann kann man langfristig schauen, welche Stadt sich besser entwickelt.
My feeling is white people have a very, very serious problem. And they should start thinking about what they can do about it. Take me out of it.
October the 26th, 2024, in Münster, Germany. Hundreds gathered to stand united against racism, demanding justice and equality. But what began as a call for solidarity soon turned into a scene marked by division and tension. The tension escalated as visible pro-Palestine bloc joined the anti-racism demonstration. Their presence sparked discomfort and division within the crowd. Such reactions reveal complex layers of social tension, where even amongst allies, solidarity is strained.
Okay, we come together and in one day we will just fight racism.
One of the listed speakers, an anti-racism activist and journalist, took to the stage, addressing deeply entrenched issues: police brutality, systemic racism, colonial histories, and ongoing violence against oppressed communities. His final words, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," reflected his stance on the struggle faced by the Palestinian people.
You want a segregation, you want a separation, a divide line between your society and our society. In your blood, it remains. So how you will get rid of this? Try to understand us. Try to listen to us. When someone is telling you racist, think about yourself. You tolerated the rise of fascism so that your fascism actually killed 6 million Jews. And now the same pattern is committing a genocide in Palestine.
Woo, free Palestine!
Which is the settler colonialism you don't recognize. It doesn't matter if you recognize or not, because colonizers never recognized that they did colonialism. It's us who can speak out loud. So,
let him speak.
I just want to say, from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
But moments after his speech, the demonstration took a disturbing turn. Riot police officers moved in, detaining the activist, a man of color who has frequently documented police aggression as a correspondent for Unrest Radio and for other international media. Eyewitnesses report racial profiling, with the police focusing their actions disproportionately on BIPOC members of the crowd.
Police repression took place in the form of one speaker being pulled out from the demonstration, being isolated from the rest of the group. This happened in a very violent manner, and the reason why that person was excluded and pulled out was that he was speaking about Palestine.
What struck me the most was the fact that the ongoing genocide that is happening in various parts of the world, and especially in Gaza, were never brought into discussion. And people who are from this part of the world were not opted by the organizers of this demonstration to speak, share their experiences. So when a speaker brought up the topic, I've noticed a sudden shift, and this is tied to the question of police repression. The speaker, who was the first person of color to take the mic, brought this topic. The reaction was disproportionate. One of the organizers tried to cut the mic off and even instigated a policeman to retain the person people were supposed to tackle, which is the racism in the German society and the fact that a person of color was retained by a huge number of policemen that started gathering the moment the issue of genocide in Gaza was being brought up. This shed a light of the huge issues of racism in the German society in a very case-in-point manner.
Why are you taking him? Hey, what are you doing?
Here, a voice against injustice was forcefully silenced. A scene that highlights the complicated nature of solidarity and the unsettling presence of racial tension, even amongst anti-racism advocates.
The anti-racism demonstration on Saturday did not manage to include a diverse social demographic. Aside from the Palestine Solidarity Bloc, it was a really liberal makeup, and so it was mainly a demonstration where people should take part in order to feel better about living in a racist society, and so that they could feel like they are somehow better than their racist neighbors or their racist co-workers. Most prominently could be seen by the fact that the racist genocide in Palestine was not addressed, and the one person that did speak on it was violently pulled out by police and forced to leave the demonstration.
Confusion marked the police response as officers appeared uncertain whether the activist was legally permitted to chant his slogan. During his detention, the activist exchanged in a tense exchange with the officers, questioning the reason for his detention. When the police claimed he had chanted a prohibited slogan, he immediately reminded them of Münster court ruling last year, even presenting court documents as evidence. Despite this, police repeatedly demanded his passport and, without clear grounds or confirmation of any legal violation, ultimately forced him to leave the demonstration. Notably, no official document was issued throughout his detention.
What you're showing here is how truly solidary people can be and who we can rely on. It's not those who just stand by, watching, and saying there's no place here for opposing genocide or occupation. Supporting a free Palestine is part of the fight against racism, fascism, and the European border regime. These are not separate struggles. Anyone who hasn't understood this needs to rethink their activism from the ground up. Once again, I'm so disappointed by how passive the left wing in Münster is, all just standing around, watching, saying, this is too uncomfortable for me. What kind of trouble are they causing now? It shows again how comfortable you've made yourselves. Just be ashamed.
Mit Blick auf die pro-palästinensischen Demos in Berlin haben wir schon ausreichend Begründung für eine echte Abschiebeoffensive und vor allem für die konsequente Anwendung des Ausweisungsinteresses des Staates. Das jetzt durchzusetzen, ist politische Verantwortung. Und eins möchte ich noch sagen. Vielerorts wird sich darüber beschwert, dass bei diesen pro-palästinensischen Demos die Berliner Polizei Diensthunde einsetzt. Diese Antisemiten, die unser Grundgesetz missbrauchen, denen sind Leib und Leben von Polizeibeamten doch völlig egal. Und die Diensthunde einzusetzen ist genau richtig. Ich gehe sogar noch einen Schritt weiter. Den Maulkorb zu entfernen ist vielerorts noch viel zielführender.
Many say that this scene reflects a troubling trend in Germany, an erosion of civil liberties where free speech is stifled, especially if it challenges state-sanctioned narratives. Activists report heightened crackdown on voices speaking out against social injustices. Those who address colonial violence and Palestinian rights find themselves at the center of an intensified state response. with critics arguing that Germany's treatment of dissent increasingly mirrors the tactics of a police state. As Germany grapples with this clash between social justice and repression, many ask, is Germany reproducing its darkest past? For now, the voices of those standing against oppression continue to face new challenges. In Germany's streets, the fight for justice has grown more complex, with questions of freedom, solidarity, and racial equality emerging as focal points of an increasingly polarized society.
Racism is deeply ingrained in the economy, in the school system, in the prison system, criminal justice. I would probably conclude by saying what we are addressing today are issues that should have been taken up in the immediate aftermath of slavery. But they're also issues that should have been taken up with respect to the colonization of this part of the world. The first victims of racism were indigenous people. What we try to do is to get people to come to that conclusion on their own, and not on their own as individuals. See, one of the reasons we have so many problems in this country and in this world, particularly during this neoliberal era, is because we have been encouraged to think of ourselves as individuals primarily and not members of a larger community. You know, so when we think about getting rid of racism, we think about changing individuals. It's not going to happen simply by changing individuals. The structures produce racism even when the individuals assume that they are anti-racist. Our struggle against racism here is contingent on our ability to support our Palestinian sisters and brothers.